What is up, everybody? Today we are back talking about Lakeisha's film being dragged on social media and a lot more on Black Hollywood Live's The Trend.
You're tuned into Black Hollywood Live, the world's first digital broadcast network devoted entirely to urban entertainment and pop culture. Tune in right now.
Hey,
what? Okay, is it Thursday again? What? It is. It's back.
We're back.
We are back at Black Hollywood Live's The Trend. We got a full house today. It's
all
like
the
family. We at your cousins, your
it's the
aunties, your
barbecue
grandmother's house. It's the
reunion.
barbecue reunion today.
Yes. What about
Family
you?
matters.
Right. What?
I'm hungry.
I'm hungry too. All right.
Ooh,
I need some ribs. All right.
or a margarita with some tacos.
That too.
I'll take that as well.
Wow, this is all really good. And I only got
Okay.
coffee, so this is not really helping me right now. I'm your host, Daryl Kristen. Joining me today is Courtney Stewart,
Hello, everybody.
DJ Jesse J,
What's up?
Tanisha Laverne Grant.
Hello, sweet babies.
Oh, wow.
We sweet babies,
Sweet
y'all.
babies
All
today. All right.
Praise the
Bring your
Lord.
sweet baby with your leather gloves on.
I just
girl.
want you to have a snake just riled up
I
here,
know,
like
I
Aaliyah.
wish.
We need a
I
resolution.
wish, 'cause she
Oh,
did the
that-
fingers like,
she
hello,
does do the
babies.
fingers.
I love it. Okay.
Well, we also have three very special guests today.
We
Did y'all know
do.
we have an Emmy nominee in the house?
What?
Let me say it again. Emmy nominee. Shanti Lowery is here with us today.
I love hearing that. Thank you.
Yes.
We have director Michael Shepard with us today.
What's up, y'all?
And my favorite name of the day, actor Parnell Damon Marcano.
Oh, that was good. That was awesome.
I did it. I practiced, y'all.
That's the only time you're going to hear.
Is it going to be Parnell today? Or Pete? It's going to be Pete. What up,
Everybody
Pete?
calls me
What up,
Pete.
Pete? We got a lot of topics today, so we're going to get right into it because we got a lot of
Right
things to cover.
Yeah, we do.
Well, y'all may not have heard about it. Well, you probably have heard about it because Black Twitter announced it to the world. There was this movie, this independent movie that was released called, selectively released,
Right.
Loquisha. And you might see the picture around it is a black woman's face opened up with a white man inside of it. So Black Twitter went crazy with the release of the trailer. So basically it's about this white man who's trying to make some money so his son can go to school, and you know, he's doing radio and whatnot, podcasts, and it's just not working out for him. So he said, hey, I'm going to recreate this character. And he recreates this character, called Loquisha, a black woman who, as he says, tells it like it is. And it is him, you know, the whole shtick up, what girl? Like, you see this whole video trailer of him doing this thing, and everyone's loving Loquisha, and they're calling in to get the real deal. And it don't really even sound like a black woman. It sounds like he's just a very horrible accent, even trying to do anything at this. Like, it sounds like a man. And I was just like, what in the fake Mrs. Doubtfire is going on here?
Not fake Mrs. Doubtfire.
No.
The racist Mrs. Doubtfire. No, so Black Twitter dragged it, and he actually came out to state that he wasn't trying to mock anybody. He said if you actually, maybe the trailer isn't really explaining the movie, but the idea is that, you know, recreating ourselves in a time when things just aren't working for you, and that he worked with a lot of black actors on the show and his black friends, and
He's got lots of black friends.
Lots.
and you know, they supported it and they helped create this creation, that we should give it a chance. And Black Twitter is like, hell no. Now, actually, some people are actually questioning if this is even like a movie that's going to be released. If it hasn't gone in any film festivals or anything like that. All that's rumors that it won awards and all that. It didn't. He came out to say that it did not. But he's thankful that he's getting press for it, but he doesn't like that it has this negative stigma attached to it. What did y'all think?
Somebody choose
Somebody.
Go
Go ahead.
I feel like nobody wants to
I know,
jump in
nobody wants
first
to
on
touch this first. Okay, I started to say this at the beginning of the show. I tried to go into this with a very open mind as a journalist. I thought about it in two different ways because I was like, okay, I saw the dragon on social media and going on, but I was like, let me just look at this trailer myself. When I looked at the trailer, my first thought was, if this was released 5 years ago, I don't think it would have been as much of an uproar as it is today. I think this is not the time right now of where we're at with just Trump being in office, all of the,
5 years ago? I would give it 10. honestly.
5 to 10.
When did white girls come out?
But see, that's the thing. Everyone's comparing it
White
to
chicks.
White
girls.
chicks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
White
White
chicks.
chicks. And that was like 10
White Girls is the
was that-
HBO
White
show.
Chicks was probably 15 years ago.
White Chicks was 15 years ago.
I know.
Damn, y'all old.
That was early.
Because Mean Girls is
I mean, I don't know what
in
you're
the
talking
20s.
about. I was in elementary school when it came out.
I mean, I was just born. I mean, my mom wouldn't let me see it because I was born then.
Wait, whoa.
I'm kidding.
What's happening
So
Back to the topic.
no, I'm kidding, by the way. So no, but if it had come out at that time, I think it would have been perceived differently than right now. We're just not in that state right now for that type of humor. I personally think, but that was my 2 cents.
It feels really tone deaf. Like it just feels like I'm really surprised. They're surprised that people have a problem with it. In politics right now, you have nothing but conversations about blackface. Like if blackface is a problem 20 years ago, that somebody did it 20 years ago, why would you think that you can make this movie and people won't have a problem with it?
Right.
That has nothing to do with my opinion. I think it's just stupid. It's ignorant, and I wouldn't want to see it.
Right.
But I do think people have the right to make the movies they want to see, and I hope that audiences don't go and see it so that nobody ever makes a movie like this again. I really do think I personally think it's racist and insensitive. But I also, I think that that's what film is about. It's about telling whatever story you're trying to tell.
True.
And, did anyone ever think about this fact that he's just trying to tell the story of, the fact that it's hard for white men these days to pay for private school educations for their children, right? They might not get to shop at Whole Foods if he does not
you're right.
take on this next job, right?
You're right.
And pay for 91 octane gas in his imported vehicle, right? Like these are important things to white people. So I'm glad he's making a movie that speaks to that.
Yes, I agree.
I'm curious,
You know?
is there anyone coming out, like black folks coming out and saying, oh, no, this is my buddy, this is my friend, this is what he's trying to say? Is there anyone who's doing that?
That's advocating.
It's a great
for it?
I think
question.
there's one of the actors
one of the
from
actors.
the movie.
Dwayne Perkins, he's the comedian and the actor in the movie.
His best friend.
His
in the
best
movie.
friend in the movie. He says that he is hoping that people will go into the movie unbiased. He said that his intention was not to make a mockumentary or a mock of anything. His intentions were to encourage people to just have fun and laugh and that kind of thing. So he's hoping that people can go into it with an open mind. But I'm like,
The problem is this:
very hard
if
for
it
me to
if it was a black woman in the story, like how this is basically Howard Stern's story. Like he couldn't make it, so he created all these characters in his head, and he started like vocalizing them. Now, if we actually told the story of a black woman doing this, and she was the star of the movie, it wouldn't. In Hollywood today, it wouldn't hit the same way. So I think that's why people are bothered by it, because that this man is doing something like this, and the fact that we're biting towards a mockumentary than we actually would if the actual star was a black female.
I mean, that's an
I don't know.
interesting
For
point.
me, it's just it stings. It stings. It stings. It stings. It stings because black women. I don't know who came up with this idea that black women have it easy in Hollywood. I don't know if this is just new. I didn't get
Is that an
memo.
idea that people have?
That's no.
Oh,
Yeah,
Lord.
I mean-
I was like, wait, yeah, it's like that.
Oh, Lord.
Who thinks
I mean,
that?
for him to want to be a black woman working in a space, for
Right.
thinking he'd fare better as a black woman, I'm like, I'm still having difficulty. I'm
Right.
still having difficulty. There was a reporter just a couple days ago in New York City who was on the red carpet for John Wick, and Halle Berry had to, stand and say, I'm going to make sure that I interview with these two black journalists. So
Praise
I
God
don't
she
know.
did that, by the way.
Right? Yeah.
that
so,
doesn't often happen. So
Right. So I
that
mean,
does.
I don't know. And then the whole adding like, oh, my son needs tuition money for school, and
Private school.
black
Private school.
Private school.
Right.
Thank you
Yeah.
for clarifying.
He has to go to
My son
$13,000
needs
a year.
$13,000.
That's cheap.
It is
$13,000.
private school.
Y'all
Yeah.
listen to private school.
Private school, yeah.
Wow.
My kid will be.
My
at
son's
the-
my son's school is $28,000 a year.
Exactly.
Wow.
$28,000 a year.
Wow.
Yes. Yes. So 13 is
Wow.
cheap.
I sued the district to get that for free though.
Hey, praise the
I
Lord.
did it. I did it the right way.
Praise
They
the
messed
Lord.
up, and I got everything I wanted.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Wow.
Be a
Yeah.
check.
So basically,
crazy.
in conclusion, nobody's gonna go see Lokisha. Sorry,
Ever.
dude, ever. But like, I support you. You want to be stupid and make a stupid movie? Do your thing. Waste your money.
Do
There
you
you go.
fault any of the actors who signed on board to do the film? You as an actress.
Yeah.
You as an actor.
Well, for me, everybody has to make their own choice for them and live with the repercussions of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just my way of like, yes, that's how you roll. That's cool, but realize that people are going to be giving you the
side
side
eye.
eye,
Yes.
from that point
and
on.
did anyone read the script before,
Right.
because if
Did
you're
they?
given a role, here's what the script is, and any actor going, right away, he's in black voice, blackface. Okay,
Black voice, exactly.
Here, I'm just going to pass on this.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
what,
I will say that I'm not going to judge anyone too harshly. I think it depends on where you are in your career and how badly you want to break.
Yep.
I'm not saying that that's the right thing or the wrong thing. As I said, I don't think there's anything wrong with making the movie. I'm just not going to go see it, and I really hope that nobody else does either. So I'm not going to say there's anything wrong with being in it. And as I said at the beginning of your career, and you just want a chance and you want to prove you can do something.
You want a
It's a
gig.
bummer probably now because you're not going to want to put that on your resume.
Right, exactly.
But-
Hope that wasn't your first credit because
Yeah.
you still, still got the extra.
Never
Put it
mind.
towards the end of your reel.
Right. And meaning like not on it.
I don't know. There's just something called the integrity piece. We've all been faced with choices. I'm always faced with the choice as a journalist. Do I want to run particular content? Do I want to run this particular interview? Because again, your career, your name, your brand, that's your reputation, and it will come back to bite you, and it will definitely come back to bite you even faster in this generation that we're in, because people will Google you and research you. I mean, I have people message me like, "Oh my God, girl, I saw one of your auditions." I'm like, "How'd you find that?
Yeah.
How did you find that?" And people will judge you and judge you very harshly for your choices. They don't care. That's
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So
But in the end,
We'll
we
see.
have the right
Yeah.
to choose, and
This
that's,
is true.
That's life. But
this is true.
somewhere where you don't have the right to choose anymore.
Good segue.
Nice.
But don't-
Nice, Courtney.
I see what you
That
did
was
there.
That was
So
fire right there.
And I'm gonna not be hostile, y'all. This is not a news.
Take a sip-
we
take a
are
sip of
not a
your tea.
news source, so I am biased clearly, and I'm not here for us to fight over whether you don't or do believe in abortion or believe it's murder and all that. That's not what we're talking about. But this week, Alabama, their governor, signed over into law basically a complete ban on abortion, except they did have one exception in the case that the mother's life is threatened by the pregnancy. There's
Even
no,
that, though, they are making you prove a
Prove it.
ton.
Right.
Like, they're
Right.
going to
Prove
make
it.
you get to that point where you might actually
you might
die.
actually die.
Yeah.
So you have to wait till you're about to die.
and then if you
for it
do
to
die,
be- Then
Whoopsie.
you have to,
Oops.
sorry, can't help you. Additionally, it's not necessarily criminalizing the women themselves, but it is criminalizing the doctors, so they could be charged with a felony for performing the procedure. If they do, it might be up to 6 months before the actual ban is enacted across the state, but it is clearly a follow-up to a bunch of other states that are also doing very similar things.
Missouri.
Georgia just passed one
Missouri
last week.
today,
Missouri's
8
on the
weeks.
list.
8 weeks, yeah.
Ohio's
Yeah.
on that list.
But they're
Hometown.
Minnesota's on that list. So everybody that thinks this is just some
State.
country southern people in Georgia and Alabama and Mississippi, no, it's not. It's spreading. It's in Maryland as well. There are lots of really strict bans that are coming in various states and more that are on the table that have not been passed yet but are up for votes very soon to do this. And everyone, for the most part, thinks it is basically the far right opportunity to sort of force another case before the Supreme Court
Yeah.
to overturn Roe versus Wade. And as you know, Brett Kavanaugh is sitting on that seat now, so it's
Sure
very
is.
possible that Roe v. Wade could be overturned. And
Yeah, they were saying today it's going to come down to John Roberts' vote.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard there are like
That's
33 states
scary.
that are either passing or in the works abortion restrictions. I only think
Yes.
about maybe 6 or 7 that are voting to strengthen the right
Right.
to abortion. And I know that the right wing has already said this is their goal is
Yeah,
to
their
take
goal
it
is to take it.
to the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of politicals who are saying the Supreme Court may not hear their case, because with all the challenges that are going to these laws right now, they are probably going to be rejected by the lower courts, hoping that they will get to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court may just go like, we're not touching that.
We're not
Yeah.
touching
So
it.
there's still an opportunity to stop what's the Handmaid's Tale from coming to life,
Literally.
and
Literally,
it's something
yeah.
ever since I've been watching that show, it's like if we are not careful, this can really
I hope y'all look good in
Yeah.
red.
if we're not diligent, if we're not vigilant, all the ends, to stop this from happening, that we could be actually living in
We already
this
are.
alternative world.
Yeah. I
Season
think
3
we're
coming
close.
next month.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Right.
Season 3.
Right with the wave.
Right.
We're already
I
in
heard that
season
they're-
4.
Yeah, I heard that Ohio is it? That
Yeah,
they're
Ohio.
that they're talking
My
about
state.
even taking preventatives and making them illegal.
Yeah.
See, now that's just,
I mean, this is what's crazy, right? Like, so we're talking about abortion. Okay, fine, you get to that point. Like, there's not a lot of support for free contraception across this country, period.
That's very true.
Additionally, as a woman, and it's very frustrating because this is personal rights and rights to your body and physical choices that you make for your own person. And many states, there are restrictions on women. If you decide, like, oh, I'm 24 and I don't want to have any kids ever, I don't want to get married, or I do want to get married, and there are many states that you may not be able to get a tubal ligation, which is basically getting fixed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A dude can roll up and get a vasectomy at any point in time, like, hey, cut, snip it, I don't want it. But a woman literally in many states is restricted to the point where they make you have a waiting period. You got to think about it. You might change your mind, girl. You might want to, or you might want to get it. Once you get married, you might change your mind, girl.
You know when they won't make you wait? If your husband walks in with you and signs for it. You know, because he's a rational thinking person.
Right.
It's unbelievable, and I really can't believe that there is any man who is defending this. It's unbelievable. If you want to say that a woman does not have the right to decide what goes on in her body, and a lot of times people say it's because, for instance, when someone is raped, there are a lot of people on the other side that will say, your body will not create a child if you don't want it.
A senator actually said that out loud.
Or if God didn't want you to have that child, right?
I can't.
And exactly, I can't. Like, where are we living? It doesn't have anything to do with religion. If that's where we're going to take it, then I think the little blue pill, Viagra, should be against the law. Because if God wanted you to have an erection, He would give you the blood to have it.
Why are we
So let's
talking
just
about
fight
God?
back.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly.
that's the craziest part.
exactly.
And I just don't understand. I mean, obviously, clearly, we don't understand this government.
Yeah.
But it blows my mind that God can come up in a conversation so many times.
Does it really though?
Huh?
I mean, does it really surprise you?
Blow your mind, yeah.
Yeah, it does blow my mind because even on
Because religion is used so much.
Yeah, I was
right,
going to say, we're going to
for
lynch
some
you
of
in
the
the
things.
name of Jesus.
Right, yeah.
We're
Yeah.
going to lynch you.
Historically.
well, but I'm talking about like up in
I mean, it's...
in the White House and all that. But
Right.
I'm saying like as far as words are used, but it blows my mind because that's the first thing that we talk about, separation of this, and so legally
There is no more separation of church and state.
Yeah,
Which is
but
why
that
it's
means
like, it's
this
been
is the
eroded
step to
so strongly.
erasing us as people, period, and we will all eventually become slaves.
When zygotes
Yeah.
and corporations have more rights than most black people do today.
I posted that yesterday.
Exactly. It's like, and no one's talking about the fact that 100% of pregnancy belongs to the man, because without the seed, that would never happen.
Exactly.
So it's like, but the man is not being held responsible
No.
at all about this.
Yes. If I got to keep this baby, I think child support starts immediately.
Yeah, 6 weeks.
If it's
Isn't that
6
the new
weeks.
thing?
Yeah,
6 weeks.
6 weeks.
I
Starts
agree.
immediately.
We should actually, part of me says we should have these conversations and talk to people and say, what are you doing? This is crazy.
Sure.
But it doesn't work because
no.
they pull out these crazy, God wants you to have a child kind of stuff. And so now I feel like we just need to push crazy legislation back at them. For
Agreed.
instance, no more Viagra, period. It's against God, right? And push
No
back.
more masturbation.
No more masturbation.
'Cause that's
You're
killing-
wasting
that's
children.
killing a child.
You're wasting
Literally.
children.
That's
said that's
thousands of
reckless
children
abandonment.
dead.
Yeah, and mandatory child support at 6 weeks,
I
and
100%.
criminalization if you don't pay it. If I have to live with this child in me, even though you raped me because God wanted it, then even if you're in jail, you need to pay me to have
as
this
soon
baby.
as that heart starts, that little
Yeah.
thumb.
As soon as I hear a heartbeat,
Yeah.
I got your social security
Do you know
number.
it
and I'm
costs
taking you to court.
$30,000 if you go into labor early
Yeah.
to have a child? So you telling me I have to have this child could end up costing me and that's if I don't die in childbirth,
Right.
that's
And I'm much more likely as a black woman, just in case I didn't know that.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, my biggest thing is that no man should be determining how a woman's body should be, what her rules are for the body. I don't think a man should actually have that power to be able to do it. But I mean, I know that's
apparently they do.
Don't tell
Apparently
Megan
they do.
McCain that.
Or a woman
We
tell
gotta
another
vote.
woman what she should do.
Or-
Nobody
Yeah.
tell anybody
Yeah.
what they should do with their body.
Right.
Yep.
Well, I should be able to talk to my doctor and nobody know what's going on. And that's
Well,
like the
that's-
premise of Roe versus Wade. It's the right to privacy. That's none of your business.
But now it's like there are things that they're telling people that if you go out of state
Oh, yeah, you can
to
still
have an
be-
abortion, you cannot sign any waivers whatsoever. If you sign a waiver, then they can take that waiver and pick it back to Alabama and say, "Oh, you did that. You're charged now."
You're charged.
Wow.
You can
It's
still be
insane.
charged.
Yeah.
That's
It's
nuts.
insane.
We're like,
This thing is out of
These
control.
people, like,
And
2008 happened. Them people stole people's houses. People lost their entire life's wealth. My own parents lost half of their worth in that crash. Nobody was punished. But we out here picking out random women and women who might have been raped, or women that can't afford a kid and want to put them in jail or put their doctors in jail. Like, how does that make any sense at all, ever in life?
That's true.
I don't.
For 99 years.
Straight up
Yeah.
People rape and murder people and don't go to jail for 99
that's
years.
true.
That's just a thought.
Because
Yeah.
we're worried about what might happen to him in jail.
Yeah.
Poor him.
Like Trump,
So
you
very
out here
tragic.
trying to get rid of people out of the U.S. and then in this way you trying to bring more in. Like,
Well, because they're
well,
good
that-
until
yeah.
they're here.
Until
Right,
they're
till
If
here.
they're here, that's
Then they don't
that's
care.
your problem.
Right,
You gotta figure
exactly.
that
That's what I was
out.
gonna say.
Even though
That's-
you
then
made
that's-
me, you know,
but it was interesting too because they were saying so if an illegal was here and has a baby here, however it is 6 or 8 weeks that they said.
Yeah.
So is that now an American citizen? And
Well, they're
does-
trying to change that anyway. Like, you got to have
Right.
one parent that's actually a
Absolutely.
citizen
A
already.
citizen,
Like,
yeah,
that
it's
whole
a whole
idea that
bunch
you
of
can give
rules
birth
now.
on this
Yeah.
soil and be
Exactly.
of
Yeah.
America.
But they are forcing the people that they are detaining at the border to give birth to children, even though they are seeking abortions. So this is a policy that is affecting the people crossing the border. There was a
was a
16
girl,
or 17-year-old girl that they were basically just pushing back her deadline, her court date. They were doing this on purpose. They even said it to make sure that it was after
far
the time when she could have the abortion. And they eventually, I think she was able to obtain her abortion, but that was one of hundreds of cases that came to light because
Yeah.
of the ACLU suing. So hundreds of people are being forced to have children that then are going to be sent back with them to a country that they don't want to go to. It's not like they're going to get to stay here. They're going to get sent back there to
Yeah.
nothing, I guess.
And just for the record, this is one of the most intimate of your sort of personal body rights. Like, your decision to have a child and procreate with another person, and all, that's one of the
Yeah.
most intimate things that we have as humans. And if they're able to legislate and picket that and criminalize that, what else can they go after?
everything.
I mean,
Everything.
forget trying to help mental health.
And
at
if
this point.
nobody wants to even think about it that way, like, what's next? Because
Yeah.
this is like should be the least of our concerns, and that's the one that they have selected to go after. So that means any and everything is on the table.
Everything.
Nobody wants to pay attention.
No.
You know,
Everybody's
I mean,
turning
it's
them-
right. It's
turning them
right.
back.
It's right here in our faces, and it's been in our faces. I mean, we've been talking about this ad nauseum for, at least 20 years. Why it's important to vote. Why it's important to vote in every election. But all we are preoccupied with is with looking great on Instagram, the social media, the likes, the followers. We're out of. I don't know. The bottom has completely fallen out.
Yeah.
The bottom has
hopefully we
completely-
can get it back. Hope we can get it back. All right. Well.
Oh, Canada.
All right. We're gonna move on to our ER Web Story Spotlight of the Week. Well, I was hoping to. I was hoping to lighten the mood, but apparently I won't be doing that with this story. A 44-year-old woman from Houston was shot 5 times by a cop, and there's been a lot of controversy around this because she was suffering from mental health. Apparently, she had an altercation with a cop. He tased her. It didn't work. She tased him. She took the taser back, tased him, and he shot her 5 times. And the woman's name is Pamela Turner. She is a grandmother of 3. They said she had been suffering from schizophrenia, and it's a big uproar right now because of the fact that she was shot 5 times, and she had also yelled that she was pregnant before she was shot. I'm sure you guys have seen some of this story on social media. What were your thoughts? I mean, this is another story of cops gone wrong, and but the cop is saying in his defense that she was the aggressor in this, and that was the reason for him to be able to allow himself to shoot her 5 times.
Killed 2
But
lives.
if you look at the video, she's about 5 feet away from him,
Exactly.
standing completely still.
Yes.
Right.
And he pulls out his gun and shoots her. So I don't see where the aggression is.
Right.
Yes, there is that at the beginning. She's like, "Why are you always following me? Why are you doing this to me?"
Yeah.
And then he tases her. You hear the tase, and she falls to the ground. And he goes down, and she tases him back. Good for you, sister. First of all. But and then she backs away, and she's literally talking, and he just goes bam, 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 bam,
Yep.
bam, and as you just go,
That was not about a threat. And if other neighbors knew that this woman had schizophrenia, and he's a cop who lived in that complex, then he knew
He had
that she had mental health
altercations
issues.
with her. They said.
Yeah, they said.
So this is not
Previous
somebody he
altercations
didn't know.
with her.
This is a personal thing that's going on between two people, that he had whatever issue with her. Maybe she said something to hurt his fragile white male. I don't know. But this was just unnecessary. It was
Well,
absolutely
it's dumbfounding because didn't we just have a conversation about how the people on the right are like, life begins at 6 weeks,
right.
but they have no problem with this man shooting an innocent baby. Like, let's pretend she doesn't exist. She says, I'm pregnant, and he shoots, and nobody seems to have a problem with it.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. That's
Because
not
it's
Because she was a
Black
crazy
lives.
black woman. It was the
I was gonna
best.
say she was a crazy black
there's
woman.
no currency, and they like to remind us of that, regularly, that there is no currency when it comes to black life, this black human experience. And again, it's like, what is the answer? Like, what are we going to do? Because it's
I
not
have like 10
yeah.
answers.
Yeah.
Okay,
You know?
so let's say
I would like
no,
to
really,
hear that.
like really, because
Please.
this is the problem every time, right? They say, "Well, I was scared, and they were being aggressive."
Sure.
When a 2-year-old is really crazy, the first thing I do when they're running at me and I'm scared they're going to jump on me, I don't slap them to the ground.
Right.
I think of like 10 ways I could de-escalate this situation because I know I'm much bigger than this 2-year-old and I will severely hurt it. Right? Cops, you have a gun. You can severely hurt somebody. You need to think of every way to de-escalate before you pull a gun. And I mean, again, I can think of a million. She tased you. You back up. If you have to pull your gun, where was the freeze? Don't move. Hands behind your back. Where was any of that? And I'm pretty sure they teach those things. And again,
And
he
they
didn't
also
need to
teach
tase
Again,
her to
there's
begin
no
with.
currency on black life. They
Yeah.
don't care. And that's
Yeah.
why I'm saying, what is the answer? Because this is something that we've been fighting
Yeah.
decade after decade after decade after decade after decade after decade after decade. So although we know the answer is logically, it's
not
not
happening.
helping.
Right.
So again, like, what is the answer? What is the answer?
Right. Well, my thing
don't
is too is I don't take lightly to a police officer being in a situation that's dangerous, hands down. But when does tasing equal shooting? And 5 times at that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not just a wound here
wound, yeah.
to stop somebody.
Right. Like you killed this woman, and you shot 5 times. It doesn't equal to me.
Well, then they always say the argument about when people, why don't you shoot in like the arm or
or the
something?
leg,
And
or-
they're like,
yeah.
well, we can't do that because we got to super mask because we might miss somebody. But then we see cops shooting at people running away when there are crowds of
Right.
people
They
around.
are
So
literally
it's like, you
taught to
can't
shoot
say-
in the leg. That is like literally a part of their supposed training.
Because you don't
Unless
have to.
they're black.
You,
Yeah.
Then
there
you
you
shoot
go.
them dead.
Right.
And unless they're scared, which again, even if you want to believe that these cops are really that scared that they just shoot and it has nothing to do with race, then you shouldn't be a cop.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
yeah.
every
Well,
cop on the
exactly.
force should say, man, I'm so sorry this is terrible that this has happened to you, but this is not the job for you.
Exactly.
You killed somebody when you probably could have told them to freeze or tased them and de-escalated it.
Yeah.
Why are they doing this blue shield? Why do they not care about their profession and care? Like, when I'm working with a bad actor, I tell somebody I don't want to work with that person again.
Right, yeah.
I don't cover for them.
Right.
Like, I want
Yeah.
the production to be good.
Yeah.
What happened to cops wanting cops to be good cops?
Yeah. And then what happened to the training? I thought we were going through a training process after all
That
of the.
was short-lived.
But they were making such a big deal about, we're going to
gonna
sensitivity
do
training and doing all these different things. Where's that at?
The camera's on everyone's vest.
Well, we knew that was going to happen. That's too expensive. So we
the camera.
The camera
And you don't
can be
get
turned
sometimes
off.
6
You can turn
months
that off.
later,
Turn it
a
off.
year
Yeah.
later.
Right.
You know. You just.
Yeah.
It's time to really get boots on the ground. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's just like, black people, what are y'all gonna do? They keep killing us. What are y'all gonna do? You guys can't even boycott Gucci for 5 weeks straight. Like, what are
Gucci,
y'all?
you can't boycott H&M.
What are
Y'all
y'all
can't do
like?
nothing.
What are y'all
Oh,
gonna do? I mean,
No H&M, no Gucci.
I'm the person too. I am the big boycotter. It gets everyone's nerve. I'm not going in there.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Well, but they no, not they only.
Yeah.
Lasson's. I don't know if you shop at Lasson's. They were one of the biggest proponents for anti-gay, or completely anti-gay marriage, and people still shop at Lasson's. I'm like, they supported.
this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you going in there?
Yeah.
Well, they have, the kombucha there is really nice. Okay.
You can find kombucha at 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
And it's cheaper.
I keep having this dream
Yeah.
that, the guys that are like, popping off on the block, have that same moxie when dealing with like police brutality and big government. I'm like, you own the block, you hot, you know what I mean? You popping off, you got all this heart when it comes to, killing somebody who looks like you, but when it comes to really retaliating against big government and really standing up for your culture and your fellow, brown brethren, wow, the heart is just missing.
Yeah.
Everything is short term. Like we were so strong for it for 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden, what's the next thing? What are we looking at now?
Right.
Yep.
Were we ever?
Right.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to sacrifice their comfort. It's a symptom of America, not just Black America.
No,
we
it
like
is.
to be
I agree with
comfortable.
that.
We've never
Absolutely.
been in a position really. I mean, the worst was what, Pearl Harbor, like where it was on our soil. Like we have not been in the actual struggle of like none of us have that as a like actual
with that.
memory in our souls of the actual struggle of what it is. Black people obviously have their own specific one, but it's
We
not
do
the
have
same.
it in our-
No, we don't. We don't have it the way that many other countries do because we have lived a very comfortable existence in America. Whether black, white, whatever. Not saying that black people have lived it easy,
Right.
but in terms of, especially in modern culture now, we don't have that sense memory of really
It's-
having to struggle for certain things and for certain
I don't know.
existences. That's why.
In my memory, my cellular DNA recalls being lynched. My cellular DNA.
But I agree with Courtney. That's you. But if you look
That's
at
fine.
if you look
I'm
at
a
someone,
student. I'm a student of history. Don't get it twisted. Like I feel actual pain. I haven't put a story about a cop killing in our rundown in over a year at this point because I'm exhausted and there is no answer. I'm about to cry because I'm angry.
Right.
So don't get confused for a second. I'm not saying that we don't feel and that we don't understand pain, but I don't think we've understood or have the memory of struggle the way that many other countries do because we have had a very comfortable existence in this country, the same way that we assume that democracy is just gonna be.
Right.
Because that's what we've
It's gonna
known and that's
work.
what
Right.
Got it.
democracy is fragile as fuck.
Right.
And if we can't see that right now, then you can't expect people to do anything because if you can't see it and it's in your face, you can lead a horse to water. You cannot make him drink.
That's
And
true.
that's the same. The boys on the block, they know that. That's comfortable. That's cool. You want to unsettle that? Like they don't know how to be in that space, and they choose not to. Period.
There's that, and then white supremacy has done an excellent job at instilling fear, in having an individual leader, because every individual leader that we've ever had has been assassinated.
Exactly.
So everybody's like going, well, who's going to be the next so-and-so? Who's going to be the next Martin? Who's going to be the next Malcolm? Who's going to be the next Nipsey? All
No
of
one
us
wants
have to
to.
be.
Right.
We
That's true.
cannot
It
just
can't
put it
just
on
be
one
on
person.
Right.
We all have to stand.
Right.
Every time I see, they're at Sean King, at Lee Merritt, it's like they can't be the only two. Parnell, be still. You're knocking the mic. They can't be the only people who are standing up. We all have to
Yeah.
make those phone calls to our representatives and stuff. I've been making phone calls and writing and emails and marching and all that stuff for years, and telling friends of mine, well, y'all get your asses out here. I can't march for 10
you
of
can't
you.
just complain. You got to do something
Yeah.
about it.
But we've been
Absolutely.
sold the American dream is the really nice house and a really nice car and money in the bank. And so that's what everybody's aspiring for. Not the American dream is that everybody is living a good life together and in peace
Collective.
and
Right.
harmony and all that. That's not what it is. And if your goal is only the, physical materialism of the American dream, that's what you're going to strive for and that's what you're going to work for. If that means you got to eat, keep, cheat, steal, destroy, whatever,
do what you need
you
to
do
do,
all
what you
of
do,
that.
right.
And that is the culture of our country.
Yeah.
It's
That
to
is-
cheat,
But the
kill,
Kardashians.
and destroy to get that.
But that's the whole culture of how cute do I look at this Instagram so I can get more followers, so I can get people to pay me to do this
do
and do
this,
that,
exactly.
and become an influencer.
We're
Right.
numbed by the
Yeah.
Kardashians. Not in the sense of them specifically,
Specifically,
but
but
the
the
idea.
culture.
The culture.
Yeah.
All right.
And
well,
specifically them as well.
And specifically them. Good to
So
know.
Them as well.
basically,
They got,
as well.
they got a good part.
But there's
got
a
a good
lot of
point.
Kardashians out there.
There is a lot of Kardashians out there.
But bravo to them for working the game.
Bravo
I
to
know.
them.
Yeah,
They
I'm
getting
just
those
saying, but I-
They were giving this world
$100 million checks. Yeah,
well,
do your
y'all,
thing.
just
All right.
keep preparing to live in this dystopian
Yes.
situation.
All right, we're gonna move on to the positive now. We
moving
got a
to
lot of
Curacao.
projects in this room.
I
All right, we got Shanti. You got a lot of good stuff going on. Excuse me,
do.
Emmy nominee.
Oh, yes, that's how I
Emmy
put it.
nominated
Thank you very
Shanti
much.
Lowery.
Shanti,
So
tell us
crazy.
about your new project you're working on.
We're going back to season 3 of Bronx SIU, and I was nominated for an Emmy on season 1.
Yes.
It just happened. Thank you.
Nice.
It was crazy exciting because it was our first season, and this was just this passion project of a show. We have a black creator. We have almost all brown stars in the show, and behind the scenes as well, which is a really big deal. And, we just really wanted someone to watch the show. And so then we got 7 pre-nominations and 3 Emmy nominations.
Wow. 7 pre-nominations?
7 pre-nominations.
That's
Amazing, right? And so I'm just thrilled. We're all so excited to go back for season 3 now that we have a little confidence from the network and other things like
That's
that.
a lot of confidence.
That's a lot. And let me give
Yeah.
you a full
10
Thank
nominations.
you.
Your full nomination description.
Yes.
Lead actress in a digital daytime drama series. I mean, that's huge. And it's on Amazon. If y'all haven't checked it out, you got to check it out. And
Please.
you're killing it. I mean, and you also have Bounce TV's Family Time, and then you have a new project, Bolden, coming out too.
Yeah, well, Bolden's out right now.
Oh,
You
it's
can
out now.
check that out as well. And Family Time, we're doing season 7 and 8, our final season.
Yes.
So don't miss it. I love it. I love that show.
And now I know you play so many different roles. What would be
Crazy.
something that you'd like to do next that you feel like maybe hasn't been out there or done yet, or maybe your own personal project?
Yeah, I do have a personal project coming out this year. It's a dance project because I started as a dancer. And even though I've gotten to dance a little bit in some roles, I've never really gotten to showcase the fact that I'm a trained dancer through all forms of dance,
Yeah.
from tap to point to salsa to hip hop, any kind of dance I've done professionally. So this show is going to showcase that, and I'm thrilled about that just because, as a dancer, you work so hard,
Yeah.
and then to just kind of drop all of that,
Yeah.
it was breaking my heart.
You should do Loquisha 2, the musical.
LaQuisha 2, the musical. There you go.
It'll be your face will split open and my hand will be there like this.
Oh, I love it. Wait, I was hoping
coming
I
through
get
as
to
a
play a
black
white
man.
man. I feel like my life would open up
Scared
if I
black
could
man.
just play a white man.
Just play a white man. That'd be good. Now, Shanti, let me ask you this, because you've been in the game for a while. No pun intended. The game.
The game.
The game. Have you seen the roles really shift for Black women, especially now we have the age of, the Amazons, the Netflix, the digital places. Now it's not just network. So, are there really more roles for Black women?
No.
Really?
Absolutely not in the mainstream.
Okay.
Now, what is amazing is, and this is why the Emmy nomination was such a big deal, digital is where it's at for everybody.
Yeah.
There is amazing content, creative, your story. Everybody's story is being told in a beautiful way on digital, on Amazon, on Netflix, streaming. But the networks are still writing 2 Black roles and hiring the same 5 Black actresses that they've been hiring.
Yeah.
They'll test about 10 Black people and hire, the
same
same
ones.
Latina actress they've been using.
Right.
It's just the same kind of thing that they're doing. And it was breaking my heart until I saw what's happening on digital because it's incredible. You have, brown-skinned female writer telling a story.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's not been done in a long time. So I'm loving it.
I love that. I mean, we're loving your work, and we're
Thank you.
happy to have you in here today.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank
And you're killing it.
A lot of opinions, sorry.
Hey, that's what we
warned
encourage
you.
on
I'm
this
so
show.
happy to see that.
Yeah.
That's what we encourage on this show.
Yeah, we do this all the time, and then we go have drinks.
To
I need
debrief.
one.
Are we done?
I know.
Are we done?
Almost. We gotta find out what you guys are doing.
Hold the cocktail, Chef. Hold on. We got to talk
Hold
about
on,
that.
All the cocktails.
Sorry, that was my fault. Yeah, I apologize.
All good. All good.
All good.
Yeah.
So no, but we're looking forward to seeing more from you and
Thank you
everything
so
you're doing.
much.
And is there is there something that you have this year, like a resolution that you really want to conquer, even if it's not just a role or something in life that you really want to go after in 2019?
2019. We still got 6 months.
Wow. I know.
7 months.
Honestly, I wanted to get my TV show done this year, the dance one, and I think that's happening. So I'd like to think of a better, more interesting one, but
No, I mean that's real.
I just want to live truly an extraordinary life. My goal every day is to wake up and just live and be, and it's been working. I've had an amazing year thinking of life that way.
I love that.
Nice.
I'm gonna take on that. I'm gonna receive
Yeah,
that and
how
take
about
that
that?
on, Shanti. I'm
How
gonna bring that
about
on in
that?
my
Do
life.
Bring it.
Bring it. Now we have our boys here as well, Michael
Boys are back in town.
and Parnell. You guys have a little project you have called,
little something.
a little something called Dear Harvey.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
You want to go or you want me to go?
I'll let you,
All
artistic
right,
director.
So, Dear Harvey is a play that's written by Patricia Lowry, a playwright from San Diego area, and it is a compilation of stories and letters that were written to Harvey Milk. And Harvey Milk was the first gay commissioner in San Francisco who was murdered.
Which
for
we
his
saw
views.
Sean Penn
Yes, Sean Penn,
and
and in the movie Milk. And so this is sort of a collection of stories from all of the people who knew him. And what's great about it is that the stories are not all like, oh, he was wonderful, he did all this. It's like some real stories like, he was an asshole, I didn't like him. But so these stories, all these truthful stories come out, and we're doing this reading of it on Harvey Milk Day, which is May 22nd in the city of West Hollywood at the West Hollywood Council Chambers. And it has, this is our second year doing it, and this year we are honored to have not only Parnell and our good friend Brittany Wheeler coming in. We also have Bruce Valanche, Emmy Award winner as well.
He's from Cape Cod.
Yeah, exactly. And we also have Gia Gunn, who is one of the finalists on Drag Race.
Okay.
She's also coming in, starring in it. And we have a lot of commissioners from the city of West Hollywood on like the Trans Advisory Board, on the gay and lesbian boards, and all those people who are coming in to donate their time to do this.
Yeah.
And it's really very cool because the stories, we read through it for the first time last night as a collective cast. And, when you go into these things and you have basically a lot of non-actors doing this, I go, read the script before you get there. They don't read the script. So last night they were hearing these words and stories for the first time, and they were just physically and emotionally just like, because what we learned in reading it last night again is that while this was 1978, those stories are incredibly resonant today.
Sure.
Like the same struggle for just equality, between queer people, between black people, those struggles are still so relevant today. And to read those, these letters from 1978 and go, we are still having this exact same struggle with this exact same language. And it's very hard, and I know for me personally, as a black queer man, it's like, I'm out there on the front lines every day. Every day, because I have this platform. That I get to use, But and it's hard because I'm fighting for black rights and for queer rights, and and the rights of me as an a queer man who's adopted 2 children, and making sure that those rights stay into place.
Wow.
So it is exhausting, but it is so worth it.
Yeah.
So
I think I've been involved in a Dear Harvey production. This is what, fourth or fifth
Fourth or
time
fifth
I've done
time.
over the last 10 years. And this year I was I'm not going to do it again. I've done it so many times. But then it's like, listen, we need some more black folks up in here. Yeah, I said it. And I was like, okay, all right. But it is when you start hearing the stories again, because you kind of forget as the year goes by, and then you hear it's like, oh, it is so important to still tell this story of how it's important, because that was the one thing about Harvey Milk, is that he realized the importance of intersectionality. Is like, listen, I can't just talk to the white gay folks.
Sure.
I've got to talk to the
everybody.
union workers. I've got to talk to the garbage men. I've got to talk to the teachers. I've got to talk to all these different people, all these different communities, to realize that you are not my enemy. There is a power structure that is trying to keep all of us down. That once we recognize that and fight against that, everybody gets a bigger slice of pie instead of us fighting over the crumbs.
Yeah.
And is that what attracted you to the story initially? Is just what he meant to change, really in this community?
I think that's a big part of it. Celebration Theater is where I'm the artistic director. Is the oldest continuously producing lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, questioning, intersex, two-spirited, allied, asexual, cisgender, gender non-binary theater in the country.
Wow.
We are celebrating 38 years.
Say that 30 times.
Exactly.
I've said it more than 30 times.
I'm like, honey, if you can't find yourself in that alphabet, you
You're an alien.
Shut down.
You're not even
Shut
on
it
there.
down.
So it's like, in telling those stories with a diverse cast, and hearing those words come out of a black trans woman, or hearing those words come out of a Latino queer male, that are been white centric stories, but to hear hearing those through the lens of someone of color is sort of like crazy, because those two, as you say, intersectionality of those stories, coming in from this direction but telling that story. I love that.
And it gives a total different perspective too. And then how can people buy tickets or get involved or do it? Come see it. How do they?
Well, it's
find out?
May 22nd. You can go. There are tickets that are. You can go to West. Okay, this is when I bring things out like this because
It's okay. We want it to be accurate so people can come see it and
I'm
support
of a
it.
certain age, so okay. So you go to weho.org/pride, and there are tickets. All tickets are free. It's the event. It holds about 175 people. It sells out pretty quickly. Just go to Eventbrite and type in One City, One Pride. And all the free events for One City, One Pride will come out. There's an art. There's a again going back to this. There is a queer history program that's going to be happening. There is, what does that say? Oh, I gotta say this. So the theme for like Pride this year is love is love. Is love is love. And there's a Where Love is Illegal photography exhibit. There is something real cool. It's called New Stages LGBTQ Seniors Theater Project presents I Do, a musical that was written by seniors, performed by seniors.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
I'm here.
So first of all, bring your Kleenex because you know that it's going to be so cute because one of the seniors who I know personally is 82 years old and is about to marry his and it's just so adorable. Anyway, that is on May 25th and May 26th. And these are all programming that is part of One City, One Pride during the Pride Month, starting May 22nd and ending June 30th.
And you said people can go and get all those listing of events at the at the link. Okay.
WeHopePride.org. What I see.
I won't make you repeat it.
Rewind the clip.
Y'all just click back.
Y'all just click back. Right. All right. Well, unfortunately, we have to conclude, but that's great information to conclude with. Where can
love this.
fans
Thank you.
find
Yeah,
you,
you guys
Courtney?
gotta come back.
Yeah, you guys got to come back.
Y'all heard it. They said come back.
Come back. We'll let y'all in the room. We'll let y'all in the room.
We'll let
I hear
you
this.
in.
Courtney, where can fans find you?
I'm all over the social media universe at Stuart Starlet.
Jesse.
Everywhere DJ Jesse J.
At
Tanisha.
Instagram on Tanisha Laverne Grant, all three names. And to Harlem, all my New Yorkers, people from Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware, I will be doing my entertainment journalism workshop at the Harlem School of the Arts, June 28th. So go to the link on my Instagram and register. This is a class you do not want to miss.
Bam. Shanti.
Yeah, hey, Shanti Lowery, all across social media. ShantiLowry.
And be sure to catch her series.
Bronx SIU.
All right, fellas, where can they find you, P?
Oh, see, he already got P.
We family now. We've been sitting together for 2 hours.
All right, it's PD Marcano on Instagram, That Parnell Guy on Twitter, Greenleaf Season 4 coming up.
Can't wait.
Carlton's back.
Yes.
I'm Michael A. Shepard, or at M.A. Shepard on Instagram, on Twitter and at Instagram. ShepDog1122.
Shep Dog, Kevin Hood. Be sure to support Dear Harvey. You can find me, Daryl Kristen, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all social media, and also on Saturdays and Sundays on CBS's This Is LA. Tune in. I'm one of the hosts, so please support.
Check it out.
Definitely.
All right, that's it. That's all we got.
Peace
I know we
out.
gave you all a lot today. Check us next week.
Bye.
All right.
On behalf of our BHL staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in to Black Hollywood Live, the world's first digital broadcast network devoted entirely to urban entertainment and pop culture. Check out our Black Hollywood Live YouTube page for even more great programming and amazing content, and be sure to subscribe and like our channel when you do. I'm your BHL host, Nakia Monet, and you can find me on all social media at Kiki Boom Boom or at Black Hollywood Live. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.